everybody out there again. Today we are going to be talking about the engagement level with your dog. And this is important because one of the first things when I actually met up with you, Kris, is that you instilled in me is how was engagement. You're like, that's the first and foremost with it and what we're aiming for. And I was like,
huge.
I've never heard anybody like,
huge.
I've never heard anybody even go at it from a dog angle, you know, or dog trainers. Mostly they're after like just specific behaviors.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, we have an overarching goal with those.
Yeah.
And so like, I wanted to say first and foremost, how would we explain engagement in dog training terms to the people?
You know, it's interesting you said that though before, because like I get it from my clients a lot. They ask me, so in these 4 weeks that my dog's going to be with you guys, what's he going to learn? And like the biggest thing I want to say is engagement, but in reality I don't typically respond with that because people, they're going to go like, what is that? Oh, you mean my dog's going to pay attention to me now? And if I could explain that all the way in that long conversation that I would have over like an email, that is what I would be saying is, yeah, you know how one of your biggest complaints is your dog doesn't quote unquote listen. The reason he doesn't listen is not paying attention to you. He's not focused on you. You have no engagement with him. You have nothing. There's no connection there whatsoever. So why would I engage with you? Like as a person, if you're not looking at somebody or you're looking the other direction, why am? Yeah, exactly. If I'm over here talking to Rodney right now during this interview and you're asking me questions, you're probably going like, "Hey, man, are we in this thing or what?" And nobody's listening. And that's the same issue is. Yeah, why beyond all the other things of why a dog doesn't quote unquote listen, the biggest thing for me is like why you're not getting your dog to do things you ask them and you want them to do, or the connection you have with them. The biggest reason of that is that you don't have engagement with them. You're not connected. There is nothing. There's no focus on each other. No. And you'll hear me probably say this more times throughout this video, is that if you're not giving 100% to your dog either, why can you expect 100% from your dog?
That was
it's kind of crazy. Like people want to do that, and I'll probably in the middle of this interview be talking along somewhere and not be giving 100% because I'll be talking, and you'll see the effects of that as well. But it's the same thing in everyday life. If you're not giving that 100% to your dog, if you're not engaged with your dog, it's going to be tough for your dog to be engaged with you. If you haven't taught your dog or showed your dog or communicated with your dog how important or how cool or how special you are, and that is world should be kind of revolving around you, then you're not going to have that connection when you're asking for more formalized behaviors either. It's really impossible. So that's basically just what engagement is. My focus with you is what it sounds like. It's not like, this is our date and the day we got. This is the question.
This is it right here.
It's not that. It's it's when I have focus from the dog or engagement from the dog.
Yeah, and it's like after working with them and seeing going through the programs and seeing how these dogs are going, it's not hard in like the activities and everything you go through for them, but the results you get from them are so exponentially increased. It blows my mind every time I'm seeing it, especially as I'm working with my dog and I'm going and training Madison and everything and trying to get him to look at me and getting out time and and so many people who have done it on accident just because they actually love their dogs and keep playing with them and keep doing that. Like you've seen it, or even told me about was it during that seminar with a lady who just got so much engagement just through like playing with her dog a ton. And how like you can get so much out of it and it turns into it. And that's why I think today we're going to show 2 examples of the extremes of them, where a dog hasn't done any sort of formalized engagement and training or anything like that, and Zion, who's been in it, to say the least.
I spent the first 8 months of his life doing nothing but engagement. Like I did little left circle, right circle, some biomechanical things, charge the clicker, free shaped a little bit of the things I wanted. But the massive, overwhelming majority of work I did in obedience was free shaping, and not free shaping, engagement. And I literally just stood on one end of the field because he was terribly distracted by other people and dogs. And so I just went and hit on the other end of the field and just made myself cooler, and then everything else, and then got closer and closer and closer. And it sounds over simple, and it should, because engagement training is actually extremely easy and extremely simple. It can be time consuming, but it's incessantly imperative. Like I can't even begin to explain how important it is, especially for like competition work. But I get that question a lot too. It's like, well, yeah, my dog's not a competition dog, so I mean, does he really have to pay attention and focus on me as much as your competition dog? And I say, well, for me and my competition dog, when I go out in the field, I have a judge that they'll take points from me if my dog doesn't do what I tell him. But in everyday real life, if your dog doesn't do what you tell do what you tell them, like for example, like a recall or something, that can be flat out deadly. You can lose life, forget points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beyond it. But I mean, like, I can't go back to and be more direct about how simple and easy engagement training is. It really is just a matter of making yourself more exciting, making yourself more interesting than other things around. And so, like, same thing, like people talk about socialization. We can do socialization. I don't do a formalized socialization either. I don't go to Tractor Supply or Cahoots or something like that and take my dog up and down the aisle and just let them meet everybody. I take them up and down the aisle when they're at that range of being able to take that level of distraction, and I go there and I try to make myself more exciting. Like, come over to me, let's go. Instead of sniffing the dog bone that's on the counter, or the bag of dog food, or the treats, or the toys, or whatever it may be. And I just try to become more exciting than everything else around them. And that's all I'm literally doing. I'm just doing it over and over and over. I'm conditioning my dog to expect that I'm going to do something crazy and exciting every time he thinks about doing something else. So instead of like beating him into coming to me or paying attention to me, I make myself so much cooler than other things are around there. And my dog is conditioned so much so that it becomes expected that I'm going to go over here and sniff this, but if I do, my dog's going to run off and be so exciting, so I'm just going to pay attention to begin with. And when he does and he just offers me the engagement, I capture that and I reward that as well. And that's all I'm doing over and over and over again for an extended amount of time.
One of my favorite things you said to me was, you got to find your inner squeaky toy.
Yeah.
That's my jam. When I'm telling other people and like training in like my classes, it's like, I'm like, you got to find your inner squeaky toy.
Do. If you're obsessed with like Disney, this should be easy for you.
Yeah.
If you can find your inner Mickey Mouse or Minnie or something, you'll be all right.
That's it.
But yeah, you can't be afraid to sound a little funny or exciting or you know, squeaky toy-ish to your dog. If you have that, you know, concern, then go find a spot that's really private, so nobody points and laughs at you or anything like that. For me, I don't care. I'll do it in the middle of a bunch of people and act all goofy. If you actually see people do it in person, then you start realizing you actually think they're pretty cool for doing that for their dog. So you'll get over that real quick. But yeah, I deal with a lot of you know, some pretty tough and type A type of people, police, military, and a lot of competition people are pretty type A as well. You know, you get a lot of them, you know, yeah, tell your dog to go to the bathroom, and they're going, take a break, go, poo, go. And I'm like, man, you got the personality of a rock, you know, you might as well tie your dog out to the tree over there, because he's more likely to get excited about that than he is you. Like,
totally.
Find your inside, find your, you know, your inner squeaky toy, find your inner Mickey and Minnie, you know, whoever it may be, your goofy self, and go out there and have fun with your dog. If you can't convince your dog that you're fun or exciting, then you're going to be up a really tough road to get a lot of performance out of them.
Yeah.
So
that's like, so I guess that's like in like summary there. It's a matter of the engagement level, and centering yourself as your dog's universe allows you to like completely keep them focused and get everything out of them you want.
Yeah, and you'll see like later on when we do Zion, I'm not going to be all super squeaky like I will be with Nala. Nala's the Malinois we'll have out, and her, she's like green as can be, and I'm going to be all kinds of goofy and squeaky and stuff where I should be. With her versus Zion's, you know, been there, done that. He's 17 months old. You know, he's, like I said, he spent the first 8 months of his life in plus, I think darn close to a year, but definitely 8 months where I didn't care about anything other than engagement. And it doesn't mean you're going to be doing Mickey, Minnie, squeaky for the rest of the dog's life.
Totally.
You can get formal once you gain that engagement. Things can become more normal again. It doesn't mean I don't still get excited to see my dog or make a party with them or anything like that. I still get excited and I still get squeaky, but I don't have to go to that like constant, nonstop, annoying level that you do in the beginning, which you kind of do. And that's just to gain your dog's engagement. But later on, things fade out. You fade out that engagement work, and you start fading into more formal work. And the formal work is engaging as well. It's just not strictly engaging. So it's people struggle, you know, they struggle and they get frustrated when they're trying to work on the formal stuff without engagement. And they just accepted, and they cut it up a little bit thinner, and they broke it down a little bit further and just accepted the engagement. And they gained that or worked to gain that, and then they started getting more and more formal as time went on. Things would be a lot easier for them and a lot easier for the dog, and they'd maintain a very healthy relationship.
So I guess we'll go to the examples. We'll show you the difference between highly engaged and trained dog with Zion and a green dog with Nala. Exciting?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.